The ruh is its own kind of intellect. The brain is its own kind of intellect. And we understand that because we all have a brain and we've been using it in school. And in life you have to analyze, problem identify, find solutions. But the ruh has a different kind of intellect. We'll call it a spiritual intellect. The Quran describes the ruh's intellect as the heart. So when people don't use their spiritual intellect, Allah says, لَهُمْ قُلُوبٌ لَا يَفْقَهُونَ بِهَا. They have hearts they don't understand with them. Quran is not talking about the physical heart. It's talking about the spiritual intellect. And when people stop using their spiritual intellect, He says their hearts have become hard. Or He says their hearts are covered. Or their hearts are even dead. He even says, إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَذِكْرَ لِمَنْ كَانَ لَهُ قَلْبٌ. In this Quran, there's a real reminder for someone who actually has a heart. Some people have abandoned their spiritual intellect. They're only using this one, not this one. You understand? Now, the spiritual heart is also analyzing. But it's not analyzing for food, and it's not analyzing for shelter or clothing or more money. It's not analyzing for that. It's analyzing to fill some other kind of void. Because the physical body gets hungry, the physical body gets thirsty, the physical body has physical, sexual urges, the physical body wants to preserve itself, safety. Those are all needs of the physical body and the physical mind. But the spiritual heart is looking for spiritual food. You're going to go have the best food with your friends, and you had a great time, but you're feeling an emptiness inside. And that's because your spiritual intellect is analyzing and saying, I didn't find what I was looking for. And then I'm going to go somewhere else and find it. You guys should look up Abdullah Rothman, R-O-T-H-M-A-N. Listen to his story. I'll tell you a brief synopsis of his story. He comes from a family of great psychologists and pioneers in psychology. And he became interested in the question of what is the soul. He doesn't come from a religious background at all. And he wants to understand the soul. So he says, okay, I'm going to look at psychology last. I'm going to look around the world for what people say about this thing they call the soul. So he spends time in a Hindu temple, living with a pandit, dressing like them, eating like them. Then he goes to some shaman in Jamaica and lives in the woods and fishes with a spear and lives among them. Then he spends time in like a Jewish seminary, and he spends time in the church, and he all over. Like, he didn't just go study this stuff. He wanted to get into their spiritual practices, their culture, wanted to understand it from the inside. And he was kind of all done with everything, and he came back to do his master's in psychology. And somebody asked him, did you do Islamic psychology? You look at Islamic spirituality? He goes, really? Islam? And he started looking into it, and he says, this is it. And he took Shahada. And he's head of the Islamic psychology program at Cambridge Islamic College. Just because of the analysis of the ruh. This is something Allah gave inside every human being.